Nature has given everything. Nature has created all living creatures, in which viruses also one among them. Viruses, bacteria, or any other microbiological organisms, they used to call it as a virus. People studying virologist, people who are all studying on the virology knows very well. But how many years before these viruses we have seen in this world? Before we came to this earth, when we have become the highest animal as Homo sapiens sapiens, human beings. We have the sixth sense also. We have the knowledge of thinking, which is also reproduced through our voice and through our mouth. But this thinking and reproduction through their mouth is not unable to do it for the other animals or other creatures in the living universe, in biological system. So with that advantage, we are the supreme authority of this universe. We can do anything like that. This is the main concept for the scenario of the present corona situation. Sir, you may ask a big question. Where are these corona? What were they doing so far? Are they not with us? Everything was in the
nature
universe. How many years before? So many billion years before we exist, all the creatures in its own ecosystem. These were all living in the animal system. Animals has got the potential of all kinds of viruses, what we cannot see, but it is seen in the animals. So where they were living? Next question comes. Yes, it were all in jungles, forest, where people cannot approach. People will go for only for the livelihoods. They will go and collect their wood for their fires and other firewoods and other purpose. For that only, when they go and search it, they disturb the ecosystem of the forest. So when they disturb, people wanted to eat the non-vegetarian animal food. When people started to consume food, what happened? People were eating large amount of the animals, whatever possible. One of the animals where this coronavirus harbors, which is identified and recorded in 1940s before, and it is recorded in the all literature. It is also recorded in the USA Museum, also zoology record also. Coronaviruses are present. But how it came to the people, how it came in the form of epidemic. The first SARS, what do you mean SARS? Severe acute respiratory syndrome.
Sir, you have any PPT, sir? Earlier you are showing a PPT.
Yes, I'm saying, yes. You want to share those things.
Yes,
before I want to share that, this introductory message, now most of the things can cover, and then quickly we can pass on it, madam.
Definitely, sir. I just wanted to remind, sir, because earlier you had a PPT.
No. I will submit the PPT for your, what do you mean? Your, this one also. I will submit to your presentation also. I will submit ultimately my PPT also. Because hearing audio is more better than seeing the PPT. They are not going to read those things. When I verbally tell to the people, the first SARS which appeared in the whole world, as we are seeing COVID-2, SARS-2, isn't it? The SARS-1 was appeared in 2002, 2003. That time also, every country, there were deaths around in hundreds, not in thousands, not in millions. But there were cases in thousands, but deaths were very few in some of the European countries, especially in the UK, USA, Australia, and all such places. Whereas in India also, we also got 2 cases. In India also, SARS-1. How we got it? One marine engineer who came to India through Hong Kong, through Singapore to Bombay, he was tested and he found positive for the coronavirus. That was also taken by the our age-old institutes, National Institute of Virology. It was started in the name of Virus Research Center in the 50s. Later, it has been coined as a National Institute of Virology, NIV. They isolated, they confirmed that he was, as we are doing it for SARS-CoV-2, they were isolated and kept for the treatment. And then he has gone to Goa, his native place. Similar to that marine engineer, another individual also got it. Similarly, that time it was in a mild reaction people are getting. I'm telling the historical things of SARS. People can understand and keep it as a permanent record for your kinetic kairos. Okay. The reason, then second, when the SARS came, people are all telling. So how it came and all those things, they have, after automatically, that means it receded. The SARS-CoV-1, 2003, after that, no appearance of the SARS or corona till 2012, after a decade, you see. After a decade, again SARS came to the limelight. How? Where it came? How it came? People will be wondering, how it came? Again SARS there. SARS is telling 2012. Yes, it came in where? It came in the form of MERS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. This MERS is appeared in the Arabian countries. When in the West Asia it appeared, and there also deaths and the cases were reported. But where they were isolated, where they have seen the MERS, they were seeing in the camel as the source of the reservoir for the MERS. They identified and started to. There also the cases were subsidized automatically and all. But when all these SARS were gone, SARS-CoV-1 has gone, MERS also gone. Then again, another 6 to 8 years. Now we are seeing SARS-CoV-2. CoV-2, people were saying it was started in the Wuhan. As such, it has got legs, hands. It has walked and came to our universe. Not like that. The people's intervening and people interference with the nature. Right? People consumes more meat in the Chinese region, where you have more percentage of the meat consumers than the less consuming vegetable products. So they were started to eat many things. There were a lot of theories. It is artificially produced. It is naturally produced. No, chiropteran bats has seen all those things. It was harboring. It is recorded in the earlier also in 1940-50. Bats is the best reservoir for the coronaviruses. It has come out from the bats in the Wuhan. So it has been spread to the entire world. So started from Wuhan incident. That means it in China, in Wuhan, it came to the WHO's knowledge and they announced that in January 2020 or 31st December 2019, they coined the name also. NCOVVAD-19 because it is started. That means somewhere 3 or 4 months earlier to your announcement of the WHO. That means that much secrecy is their nation is keeping up. But our nation, next second, everybody knows. Yes, Sunil Gavaskar, this many score has made. Yes, Kapil Dev has made, like cricket, everything, every knowledge goes to everybody. No, sharing is very simple in our country because of the name of democracy by any government which rules in either center or state. That is the difference between both the countries. So somewhere some 90 days before or 2-3 months before it has come and they have spread to many places because the way I am telling this particular word, if they would have been honest and if they have been something wrong, they should have immediately referred to the WHO who is concerned with the whole, world, but they never did it. This is open secret. It has been in the form of debate with USA also. They were not a member. Immediately they withdrawn also during that time. You may be remembering.
Mm.
So such kind of a disease, then why it has been, how it has, people reacted to that. So
Mm.
what happened? This particular disease spread through the air.
Mm.
You see, one among the five components of the Panchabhuta. So air is very strong enough to contact one person to another person. So such kind of things is a new to our world. No, we have seen so many pandemics in the past also. We had plague, we had a cholera, we had many other flu and many other diseases. Similarly, this particular disease also has come to that. So almost every 100 years once, we have seen 20th century, 19th century. Now in 21st century, we are seeing the SARS. So similar to that pattern. So what happened? What is the measures to be undertaken? As we did in the SARS-CoV-1, first shut down our entry points. What are the entry points? The main is air traveling. When air traveling is cut off, then the things would be more easier. So what they did immediately as they SARS-CoV in 2002, also similar measures they adopted. Since it is not spread, they are not asked the people to wear masks. They were asking immediately to, what do you say, to cover your nose, mouth, and the face, and put the goggles for your eyesight also to avoid the virus. The first number one. What is the number two? Since we will be touching all our objects, clean our cleanizer with the hand cleaner, hand wash clean. That is, at least when you are speaking out, to talk about within a meter or 1.5 meter social distance. This is the first tool internationally recognized and announced everywhere. People started to adopt. India also strictly adopt. Do you remember when it is started in India? Everybody knows. It is started in the month of
March.
March, or
Okay.
because first report in the Kerala in 2020, then they started in the month of March, because it was intervened by the VIPs of Chinese prime ministers and our USA president and January, February. We were little delay. We should openly accept that also. But it doesn't mean that during that time more passengers might have come, brought in more SARS-CoV-2. Not like that. There were susceptible coast. Hello.
Yes, sir. We are able to hear.
You are okay, okay.
Yes.
There were susceptible hosts who will who used to migrate to all the places, to including our country. People used to come. Now let me start with my PPT. At least people will be happy to see those things. And everybody's doubt is what is in 2023 Corona. Okay. Can I click? Pachamuthu sir has seen in the screen now.
Yes.
Now, see, as I told you, environment and nature, we have the life forms of the microorganisms. It is in the viruses, it is in the protein coat or capsid, sometimes enclosed with a membrane. Now,
next slide, sir.
Next slide, shall I go ask my own, or you can, next
You
I will
can
ask.
tell me, sir. I will operate.
You see the origin of viruses. It existed millions of years ago. As I told you, the origin of viruses is unclear. They do not form fossils. But molecular techniques are used to investigate. They arose. An invaluable source of information for paleovirologists in order to trace back related ancient viruses. Various hypotheses are formulated towards the origin of viruses. Next, please. Viruses in the present form under taxonomy, more than 6,000 species described in detail. I have given the reference also, references in the bottom later slides. Viruses are every in ecosystem on the earth. And also increase in genetic diversity, all these viruses, it diverse in the form of genes between different species and drives the evolution. Viruses are still one of the largest reservoirs of unexplored genetic diversity on earth. So, in the viewpoint of a material scientist, virus can be regarded as a organic nanoparticles, and their surface carries specific tools which enable them to cross the barriers of their host cells. Next, please. If you see the International Committee on Taxonomical Viruses, as we are seeing the zoology, all the things, it is also start with the realm, subphylum, suborder, genus, subgenus. It is the Baltimore classification. Next, please. The pandemics of every 100 years, as I told you, plague 1720 to 1722, cholera 1817, Spanish flu 1918 to 1919, coronavirus in 2019-20. WHO declared March 11, 2020, saying its first pandemic caused by a coronavirus. Next. Emerged disease in 2000 later to till now. You can see Nipah virus in 1999. As I told you, 2002, 2004, SARS-1. Rift Valley fever, this is in East Africa, 2006, 2007. Ebola, Democratic Republic of Congo, 2007 and 2014 to 15 in West Africa. In H1N1 influenza worldwide, 2009 to 10. MERS, as I told you, 2012 in Saudi Arabia. Swine flu, H1 and N5. This is in 2015 in India, Zika virus 15-16, Nipah virus 2018 in Kerala. Next, please. Viruses pandemics, as I told you, it is in the quasi-species. It is in multiple. It is in swarms. Replication of viruses often involves primary multiplication of the genome. Replication involves synthesis of viral messenger RNA. The possible assembly viral proteins, then viral genome, replication mediated by earlier regulatory protein. This may be followed for complex viruses with larger genomes by one or more further rounds of messenger RNA synthesis. Next. First SARS, as I told you, it has been reported in India also. NIV Pune has isolated. There were only through WHO recorded sources is 3, and one person I have explained. There is no death. We should remarkably record. In 2003, no death of SARS. Next. Emergence of novel COVID-19 2019-20. That is COVID-19. This is named by WHO itself, so COV2. Symptoms, as we know, everybody experienced through paper, media. I need not repeat the same. The first case, December 1st, origin Wuhan, that and all I explained. Prevention of tips also, I have already spoken. Next, please. This is the, what do you call it as a zoom, or we can say the electron micrograph picture. If you see the size, there is 0.85 attograms, that is 0.85 multiples of 10, 18 grams, Dalton grams. Otherwise, 1 millionth of trillion grams. 70 billion viruses required to become a person sick. That means how frequently people died and how frequently it is multiplied a dead person or an infected persons of SARS. You imagine that. 70 billion viruses. That means it goes on copy once a person stick to this virus of SARS-CoV-2. Next, please. And if you know that a sequence of the attachment of the ACE2 receptor to release of viruses. As we see, 70 millions of viruses for infected person. There are about 8 steps to release the virus after the infection. Next, please. I need not explain those things because it is a microbiologist who is going to do that research and who is going to do that. For him, that picture is required. Common persons like us, we need not go into the details how this multiplication goes on and how these people of RT-PCR is working and all those things. Those who are interested can visit their laboratory, microbiologist laboratory, and they can understand RT-PCR and other things. Of course, I have also given some of the slides, which I need not highlight because what is going to happen in 2023? Corona, that's what my objective of the talk. Viruses in animals, as I told you, there is a discovery of 55 viruses already recorded in bats. That is called the Chiropterans, Virome in 2013 in Indian flying box. Okay, and bat-borne, there is other diseases also suspected and it is recorded. That is called KFD. KFD is also transmitted through ticks. The mites, that is Cashanur forest diseases. It is also in India, especially in the western Ghats of the Shimoga district in Karnataka. Dengue, as we know, everybody, for the past 60 years, 65 years, we are suffering. Time to time, it appears whenever the rainy season comes. Ebola, this is also African, West African countries. It is emerged last 2 years back, and it is once this African place where our Indians are working, if they come with the Ebola virus, the death will be double or triple than the SARS-CoV-2. Everybody should remember. Now, coronavirus are making their way around the globe, creating a trail of death of the disease that we are seeing. Next, please. If you see that in India, how many people are vaccinated for this today? This is a recent one I collected 2 days back. Total vaccination is nearly 220.07 crores people. Active cases as on date, there are 3,468. That is only 0.01 only. This is good data because active cases are very, very less. Discharged is 98.8%. That is 4.4143 and 483 crores. Death is 1.19%. That is so far in India, 5,30,696. Okay. 97% of India's eligible population have been administered first dose, while 90% have taken the second as well. But only 27% of the eligible population has taken the precaution of the dose for their benefits. Next, please. Oh, what about the PF7 variants opinion, which people are talking in and around the last few days? The signs and symptoms are quite similar to other Omicron subvariants like fever, sore throat, running nose. PF7 variants case of pneumonia are definitely lesser. Too many hospitalizations not been seen with Omicron, and yearly data from countries also tell us the mortality of BF7 is low. By the Tripti Gilada has statements opinion. Next, please. The ways of spread viruses, which I have been talking about and I have been narrated to many forums, that these viruses are being transmitted through mosquitoes and also through the other mode of fecal matters, and there is HIV AIDS through the sexual contact, whereas there is no transmission of SARS viruses through mosquitoes. It has been recorded by Calichot information. Next, please. Next, please. This is also continuation of the earlier slide, because the insectivorous bats, number of scary viruses are with them. There were 33.9 million years ago, much earlier than man, it has been reported. The consumption of infected animals in West Africa, it is in the primates and wild life animals. Flying boxes, meters are very common there. Nipah viruses, which is also found in the palm trees with their juices, and that infected persons are consumed a lot the infected date palm juice, sap. Australia's Hendra virus, Ebola, again primates are carrier, reservoir. Vampire bat, again rabies virus reservoir. Cowpox virus, Kanda virus, rodent, many species. 31 arbovirus isolated from bats also. Natural cycles of the majority of the virus are unknown. Natural cycle involves forest dwelling, primates and mosquitoes. Next, please. Various steps initiated by India, which is not required, that critical preparedness, response, and COVID-19 situation analysis, Government of India, what they did from the central ministry, everybody knows. Next. Next. That pandemic, what are all the steps in 2020? I have been briefed in these slides. Next, please. Measures followed that everybody knows during the close down of all the shops and the ban on the, for every 14 days, every 15 days cycle, people are not allowed to come out from their home to keep away the viruses from each other. That is the measures followed in force during that time in 2020-21. Next, please. And completely it was relaxed. This is the case in Tamil Nadu. Confirmed case is 35.9 lakhs. There are deaths so far in Tamil Nadu, 38,049. Next, please. Similarly, in other states also, it was related to the 2021 December, just 1 year back. What was the situation? If you compare with the today's newspapers data, you will see the race is not much. Next, please. How long does it live on various surfaces? If you see the glass, there is 5 days. It can survive that virus. In plastic, stainless steel, 3 days. Wood, it can survive up to 4 days. Few hours or 1 day in the copper and hardboard. These are all the surfaces. If you contact, if you touch, you will also get the SARS-CoV-2. Next, please. These are all the guidelines of the CDC, which we know very well. Next. Diagnostic test, I have already spoken, RT-PCR. What do you mean RT-PCR? The accuracy is more in comparison with the ELISA, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. Instead of that, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction is the more accuracy than ELISA. Next, please. What is the vaccine stage in June 2020? Everybody knows, but it's a recorded slide, which what they did, Bharat, Biotech, and Serum Institute of Biological E. There we have come out with these 2 successful candidates. That is, one is Bharat Biotech Covaxin, another is Covishield, which has been consumed. It has been given to all age groups nowadays, and it has been given now. National vaccine has also come as a new one, and that also has been with the price fixation. ICMR, or the government of India, has approved to take as a booster dose. But what is the situation? Are you severe now to consume or to take the booster dose? That is the question standards. Next, please. These are all 2000 variants. Then immediately the variants which are faced in 2021. What is 1 year back? What was the variants are all we have seen. Next, please. These are all the new variants which is originated UK, South Africa, Brazil, and genomic consortium of 10 research regional laboratories in NCDC in different parts of our country. They have continued to isolate the genomic variations, and they have been approved, and they have been recognized those genomic variants, and they have coined it as one is Delta, Delta plus, and then finally the large number of Omicron virus came to the surface, and that is also spread in limited regions. It is not that much severity of the other variants. Next, please. How has SARS-CoV reached peak fitness? Yes, in one of those variants, it has been transmissibility appeared in late 20 with B117 variant only. That increase or decrease, these are all scientific data, which is being required. People who is going to write the scientific paper, it will be useful. But variants are existing in different parts of the world. Next, please. But these are all the number of variants which appeared on different period of time. I've been listed. One can go through it. Next, please. These are all the Delta plus when it came in the African, and it has been recorded the genomic samples in NCDC, National Center for Disease Control. They also highlighted it is not that much serious even for this Delta. Next. Omicron, when it came from the Africa, it was only the adult populations of the people who are going to the colleges and all. More number of cases they have seen in 1 year back. Now, these are all subsidized in those places. However, now we are thinking of worried about China, B7, BF7. Next, please. New migrant variant, super mild. This what is means super mild. This is also whether it is giving more number of deaths or only more number of cases. What is the status? That period, it has been given with reference. Anyone can go through. Still, they can use it for the reference. Next, please. Opinion experts of these new emerging various variants, even our ICMR chief scientist, our Dr. Soumya Swaminathan of Indian women scientist, who was she is a stalwart who has established and who has worked a lot on this spread of this coronavirus period. And she has worked and he has given the safe measures time to time through video conference and all those things. Then they were discussing about variant. Madam has clearly mentioned a vaccine escaping variant would emerge. That's what we are also now seeing in many places. Next, please. What is the news source of the Johannesburg world class of the South African strain? This also different people's opinion I highlighted because people who are interested can read very well. Next, please. The COVID-19 WHO warning Delta variant during that time in 2021 July, some 1.5 years back. That has been highlighted in this slide. Next, please. Situations of the mutations. These mutations will be continued to adopt in certain locations. So whatever mutant variants comes, we are not supposed to entertain those variants in our system, in our tropical region of our India, especially in southern part of the India. Our conditions of the environments are different than the other places. I have given one slides of the very earlier prepared slides where I have highlighted the next, please. This is again the opinion of the different people. Next, please. Here you can see the cap of top of the India. What is the situation? And eastern border in India. What is the situation? It was prepared during June 2020. That means the 6 months later than the beginning of the COVID season, where we can see the decrease or increase of the number of cases. It all depends upon the topographical region and people's migration and other things. Especially in India, the people we are moving through the air, like cities like Mumbai, Pune, in Jaipur, or Bangalore in Karnataka, or Chennai, all these places you could see for the past 2 years data on number of cases as well as the number of deaths. It will be proportionate because people are all moving very fast from one place to another place as international travelers. Even with the safe measures adopted by the given by the government of India, which is being followed. In spite of that, we were recording so many cases because labor force has to move for those places without doubt, and they have been they had the contact, and the spread was continued so many months in Indian soil also. So if you see the southern region, you can see that relatively little third highest. It is not second highest. If you go to the northern region, the number of second highest cases during that period was in the northern region. Northeastern region is very, very low. It was in the fourth highest only. Very meager in the in Kashmir, Jammu, Ladakh, and Himachal Pradesh. The same situations are maintained till now. That is why I kept this slide for our reference. Please go through. Next. Whether it is being transmitted through the community-wise, that also they had the doubt. It has been tested by the community-wise by the ICMR, and there were no community-based transmission, and they recorded through 500 samples. Next, please. There is no evidence. Omicron cases also, what was the situation last year, I recorded when it came into the limelight in different states, the reports from the media. Next, please. Omicron spreading and infecting the vaccinated, WHO as on 20th December, because people were all started to get the vaccine. That is why 20th December 2021, people are all anxious to get their vaccine. Next, please. Vaccination during pandemic. Next, please. Vaccine stage in June 23, it was in developing stage. Next. Status of vaccine, what happened? Slowly it has first given the forerunners of the medical who are on the doctors and other people, and indigenous India's vaccine was topmost recognized by all the international level. India has supported and sent to many countries at free of cost, some with the minimum cost as recognized. There were at that time more than 300 million doses of supplies to various places. Next, please. Similarly, Covishield also they made it. In the meantime, it has been accepted our in country Pfizer BioNTech, which is currently being administered in several countries. Next, please. And COVID-19 vaccine drive in India, it is also being successfully done in many places. I have shown you the earlier slide. What is the status of 220 crores plus has been already vaccinated people in India. And again, our Sputnik 5 in Russian vaccine also approved by internationally. But many people, whatever their affordable group, they are using it in India also. Next, please. The same thing. It has been restricted for some people who are all having the more than one disease, that is communicable diseases like hypertension, cardiac. They are more risk oriented rather than the other diseased people. They have to consult with the medical person before they take the vaccine. Please. Next, please. The Regeneron antibody they have also come out with the good drugs, which is being accepted by the US National Institute of Health, and it is being available to protect the individual who are infected with the drugs mode. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, they told in the last year itself, and it is also being marketed. Next, please. So there were now competition. Many people are doing it in many places, and it is continued to all the places in India also. Next, please. Active COVID-19 cases in country lowest in 572 as on 21st December. This is also earlier prepared slide, and this has been only for the comparison purpose. Last year by this time, what is the status? Next, please. And India is going to achieve no cases of corona in near future. Why? How? Because we were confident there is no inflow of the viruses through the international travelers. However, now many countries have started, including India, especially the 5 different neighboring countries, including Japan. They were all afraid due to the China's PF7 mutant type of the COVID. And whether we are, before that, we were all planning that near future, we are going to see only no cases of corona. But actually, before we talk about the PF7, we have seen only in Tamilnadu also few. What is the situation in India in 2023? As you see, avoid COVID variant can cause another wave in no wave in India. We can guarantee, because we have seen so many, why I shown all those slides. Though we have seen so many variants which is appeared time to time, Indian populations are strong enough to protect with this thing. What about the experts says? If you see that technical advisory groups, they also says there is no going to be severity of these diseases. Next, please. Next, please. In our conclusion, I have given you very clearly, COVID-19 provides a valuable source of information. In addition to everyone's vaccine, we people of globe must adopt ourselves, maintaining social distance, wearing masks with spectacles to protect mouth, nose, eyes to avoid drop. In addition, we frequently clean, wash hands with the detergents. By doing the above activities, we keep a distance of increase in number of corona cases. This is a prerequisite send out to corona free world. Now, let me, before I close my session talk, I request the people who can ask some questions. What is your understanding from my talk, and how we could anticipate what will happen in future, or few days, few weeks, or few months? What will be the condition? The first and utmost question is, everybody mind is corrupt now confused. In this stage, if you raise a question, what will happen? They will say, Varum Varadu. Like a joke by the cine people. Varum Varadu. What do you mean, Varum Varadu? Cases Naria, report Ahla, report Ahami Pohla. What will be the condition? Because as per government norms, 2% of the population who are inflow to our country are being screened. And outcome, what is that? 0.001% only found positive. That positive cases are only your BF7 or some other strain that we have to go to the genomic consortium. They have to give the result. So such kind of things are there. That is why even a positive case come through the travelers or other mode of traveling through the ships, boats, and other unannounced source people are coming inside the country, they will be properly diagnosed and seen, and they will be quarantined in the house quarantine itself, not the mass quarantine like earlier did. That is why even our government is able to protect central or state. They are able to protect the population of our country. So we need not fear about 2023 waves at all. That is my conclusion. We are not at all going to see any big wave. I am guarantee I can write it and give it now because of the recorded data of the past several months with us. We are saved.